In a land called Uz, there lived a man named Job. Job was not just wealthy, he was righteous. The Bible describes him as blameless, upright, a man who feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. His fields were full of livestock. His house was full of laughter. He was known as the greatest man in all the East. But what made Job truly great was not his wealth, it was his heart. Every time his children gathered to celebrate, Job would wake up early the next morning to offer sacrifices to God, just in case they had sinned. That was the kind of man he was, careful, devoted, and deeply reverent toward God. But one day, something happened in heaven. Satan appeared before God, and God spoke proudly of his servant Job. "Have you considered my servant Job?" God asked. "There is no one like him on earth." But Satan responded, "Does Job fear you for nothing? You have blessed him. You have protected him. Take away everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." So God allowed Satan to test Job, but he could not touch Job's life. And then disaster struck. In a single day, servant after servant ran to Job with terrible news. Raiders had stolen his oxen and donkeys. Fire had fallen from the sky and burned up his sheep. Enemies had taken his camels. And then came the worst news of all. A strong wind had collapsed the house where all his children were gathered, and every one of them had died. 10 children, gone. Everything he had worked for, gone. Job stood in shock. He tore his robe, he shaved his head, he fell to the ground, and he worshipped. He said, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." He did not curse God, he did not turn away. But the testing was not over. Satan returned and said, "Touch his body, and he will curse you." God allowed it, but Job's life was spared. Painful sores covered Job from head to toe. He sat in ashes, scraping his skin with broken pottery. The once great man was now unrecognizable. Even his wife said to him, "Curse God and die." But Job replied, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" 3 friends came to comfort him. When they saw his suffering, they wept. For 7 days, they sat in silence. But then they began to speak. They insisted that Job must have sinned. They believed suffering only came as punishment. They urged him to confess. But Job maintained his innocence. He was confused. He was heartbroken. He cried out to God, asking why. The conversations went back and forth. Job questioned, his friends accused. The pain felt endless. Then suddenly, God answered. Out of a whirlwind, the voice of the Lord thundered,